Hello again, fight fans. Welcome to another edition of World Championship Cage Fighting Television's Wednesday Night Mayhem. Another great episode this week. Don't want to get too much into the icon stuff. I'm sure you've been beaten over the head with that. But tonight we're going to break down the upcoming fights for WCC X, Loveladdy versus Angulo II. But first, let's take a look back at the fights that transpired last weekend at WCC IX Vengeance. Opening the main portion of the card was the return of Alex Burkhart. Burkhart most recently suffered a disappointing loss via unanimous decision in his title shot against Jack Merle over a month ago. In this fight, he mounted his comeback and attempted to prove the critics wrong by finishing in exciting fashion. His opponent, Jackie Jones, has been known for one thing: taking people down and tapping them out. However, when he has failed to keep the fight on the mat, Jones has floundered in the striking department. This fight was no different as Burkhart finished Jones with a flurry of punches at the halfway mark of the second round. Speaking of comebacks, following a decision loss in a title fight, How Long made his long-awaited return against the very game Yahiro Zabu. Zabu came into this fight sporting a mixed record and less experienced than Long, but was no less hungry for the win. Unfortunately for him, he was simply outmatched in the clinch and on the ground and lost his second straight fight. How Long, on the other hand, has redeemed himself and improved to 5-1. Coming into this bout with Roger McGibbon, Fabio Almeida was riding the emotional high of a buzzer-beater submission victory over Jarius Jerome. His opponent, Roger McGibbon, however, was coming off two crushing first-round knockout defeats. Interestingly enough, his most recent victory was also a submission win over Jarius Jerome. McGibbon was not about to allow his losing streak to continue and threw everything he had at Almeida, and all three judges saw it in his favor. Pee Wee Herman sported an undefeated record with all wins coming by way of submission when he stepped into the cage against Jack Napier Jr. Jack also came into the bout undefeated with all wins by submission, but he was moving up in weight to face the other big winner from the New Blood final. So when the opening bell sounded, the fans were expecting the grappling battle of the year, and they were not disappointed. Both men come out with something to prove, but ultimately Napier Jr. secured the win via armbar and becomes the number 8 ranked bantamweight in the world, and is likely to be an entrant into the Icon Super Fight Champions starting in December 19th. Rod Borowski entered the main event with a reputation as a madman on the mat, who was often just as susceptible to submissions as he was adept at applying them. Likewise, the same could be said for Dudu. A lot has been said about their previous encounter when Borowski expertly applied a Kimura to Dudu, but that was a long time ago, and Dudu was certain history would not repeat itself. After a dominating performance, Dudu was seconds away from winning a decision victory, but that was not good enough for the unrelenting warrior as he locked up an arm triangle that had Borowski submitting with only 3 seconds left in the match. What an unbelievable night of fights. Now, without further ado, a look ahead at WCC X, Loveladdy versus Angulo II. To start the main card is a heavyweight bout between Kevin Garnett and General Zod. Garnett comes into the fight with an undefeated 3-0. Zod, on the other hand, has dropped his last 3 by decision. Will Zod be able to get Garnett to the ground and work his submission game, or will Garnett continue his steady climb through the ranks of the heavyweight division with another KO victory? When Willie Quickfish, the Pimp, when Slick Willie Quickfish the Pimp and Ultimo Dragon Do square off, don't blink. Both fighters are coming off impressive and fast KO victories, so expect fireworks and expect them early. They both got excellent hand speed, but Do's Muay Thai skills may make all the difference if this fight gets into the clinch. This fight is sure to be on the highlight reels for years to come. Next, at 135 pounds, Jesus Sanchez will face Mutin Roshi. Roshi is a brown belt in Jiu-Jitsu that looked poised to win the New Blood final until Jack Napier sunk in the rear naked choke. At WCC X, he will get the opportunity to reverse his fortune and get back on the road to the top. This quest won't be easy though, as Sanchez is known as a man that is tough to finish with very few weaknesses. His recent win over Jackie Jones stopped the 3-fight losing streak, and he's determined not to go back down that road again. And now, ladies and gentlemen, our co-main event, a WCC Light Heavyweight Championship bout. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, managed by Cat Partey. Sponsored by Blueprint Clothing and Syndicate Drugs in Rio de Janeiro, and training at a Full Contact Fight Club. Our challenger, Dog Partey. the blue corner, managed by Mac McNulty. Sponsored by Blitzkrieg Supplements in Hilo and by Diamond Design Clothing in St. Petersburg. And also trains here in Los Angeles, Full Contact Fight Club. The WCC Light Heavyweight Champion, John Henry, the Man of Steel, Irons. Irons will attempt to defend his title for the first time since winning it less than 2 weeks ago. His opponent, Dog Party, is riding a string of victories that include some names very familiar to the WCC fan base. Party clinched his opportunity to fight for the gold by stepping Justin Sontag with strikes at WCC X. These fighters are very evenly matched, and this fight may come down just to who wants it more. Both warriors will need to dig deep and lay it all on the line to take home a victory here. And in our main event, a WCC grudge match title fight in the middleweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, managed by Anthony Rich, sponsored by Syndicate Drugs in Rio de Janeiro and by Diamond Design Clothing in St. Petersburg, training out of Broken Halo Combat Club. Our challenger, Kevin the Gardener Angulo. And in the blue corner, managed by Brendan Loveladdy, sponsored by Mary Jane's Medicinals in Los Angeles and by Diamond Design Clothing in St. Petersburg, training out of Convicted Gym, the WCC Middleweight Champion, Brandon the Face Loveladdy. And of course, the main event of Brandon Loveladdy and Kevin Angulo will cap this night of tremendous talent. Angulo will get the opportunity to recover the middleweight championship belt after losing a tough decision to Loveladdy. Since that fight, he has fought only once against Wanderlei Silva, but his dismantling of Silva was so impressive that the fans demanded a Loveladdy-Angulo rematch. Loveladdy, on the other hand, has suffered a non-title defeat to Sam Benton since he last clashed with Angulo, and many are wondering if he still has what it takes to get the victory. Was his win over Angulo a fluke, or will he once again show his dominance and rightful place as the king of the middleweight division? Purchase your tickets early to find out. WCC X, Brandon Loveladdy versus Kevin Angulo 2. Well, that wraps it up, folks, for another edition of WCC TV Wednesday Night Mayhem. This will be the final edition of WCC TV. Next week, look forward to Icon TV. Hope to see you all soon. Good night.